Ladies and gentlemen, I am Karina Foo, a journalist from Malaysia, and the subject of leadership and leadership development has been discussed and debated quite extensively in organizations throughout the years. It is indeed an issue that any organization will need to focus on for continued success in these competitive times. You will probably have some ideas of your own about this and how it is currently carried out in your organization. We have here two gentlemen to give their take on this subject. One is a consultant trainer coach, and the other an experienced professional from the medical and media industries. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
David, as a practicing professional manager, how would you define or describe leadership?
Interesting question, because it's really not easy to define the concept. A definition that for me describes it all and pretty succinctly is that it's an indefinable quality rather, in a person or a team that inspires others to think thoughts, do things which by themselves they would not have done or had the courage to think or do so. I think that about summarizes it.
Yeah, that sounds good. Victor, what do you think from your coaching consulting experience?
Actually, I like what David did say. I want to add just a few things. One of which is that, see, leadership characteristics are three. One of which is professional competence. Leaders need that. The second one is that leaders have a drive for achievement, a passion for achievement. And the third thing is that they have a concern for people and their capabilities. However, having said that, it's a threshold quality, David, because if you want to go to the top of the organization, you need leadership. But having it alone is not sufficient to go to the top of the organization. That's what it means.
And so, gentlemen, the perennial question. Can leadership be learned or thought, or do you think it is inherent in a person? Like, is it in his or her DNA?
Talking about DNA, as a medical practitioner, I can tell you that it's a combination of both nurture and nature. Some are born with it, with certain leadership skills, and a lot of skills are also acquired through nurture as one grows up, through society. You acquire it because of the way in which you have been brought up and taught to think. And basically, let me give you an analogy of a rose plant with the potential to grow to become a beautiful rose. Would not produce beautiful roses if the soil and water conditions were not right. I mean, basically, what you put into that rose would determine how beautiful or how big or how red or yellow or whatever it is, and that would be a part of your DNA of the growth. At the same time, the stock from which it was grafted would also play a part. So it's a combination of both. Hibiscus flower, as for example, is still a hibiscus, and its DNA doesn't change. But how big or how colorful it is would depend on both factors.
Still a hibiscus now.
That's right, of course. Yeah. A rose is a rose by any other name. It's still a rose.
Still a rose. I said it. Yeah, right. Yeah, and of course, for us practitioners, we need to also identify who's a rose, who's a hibiscus, and create an environment to support either one of them, so that they can be the best that they're designed for, isn't it, David?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But may I add another thing?
Yeah.
You see, in organization and work life and so on, we must challenge people positively. You must stretch them outside their comfort zone. Do you think, David?
Yeah, of course.
For example, say an operations executive, can he or she do well in a marketing environment? Can he or she sort of be comfortable in a job, produce things in 6 months' time, and also maybe get new ideas and also inspire others? We find that if we can do that, then this person is made for higher things, i.e. leadership at higher levels. And this best developed actually when you have there's the rule that people are familiar with, 70-20-10. 70 is like doing the job itself, learn from the job, 20% is coaching, instruction of the job, and only 10% unfortunately, actually is in the classroom. A lot of people spend time in the classroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So indeed, an organization must believe in talent or leadership,
Yes.
as it is a long-term but strategic commitment.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, it's a long-term strategic commitment. It's not a shortcut. It's a long-term thing. And quite a lot of time, effort, and money is spent in these things.
So tell me, in your observation of senior managers in corporations, what are the consistent behaviors of effective leaders? And I am sure you have come across several such people.
Oh, yes, of course. There are a few obvious ones, but one can go on itemizing, and you can go on. But the thing is that and they are all be desirable. But the thing is, there are a few things that come to mind. For me, you must be courageous, a courageous demeanor, you know, and that's fueled by a passion. You must be passionate in whatever you do. I mean, a person without passion will never achieve anything. You know, it's just another job for you, and that's it. And of course, this is all reinforced by excellent communication skills. If I can't translate my passion to you, then what's going to happen? I mean, it's just lost in translation, as they say. There's a nice movie and it comes out very well. And also, you must have a proper line of sight. When I say line of sight, you must have a clear vision of what the end of the day, what it's going to be like. If you don't have that, then none of your people will have your vision. Yeah? You yourself must have that vision, line of sight.
Yeah, correct. I think it's good. Line of sight is a very important thing for leaders. But maybe we should add one more. I think leaders being leaders, a lot of people look up to us. I think leaders should also lead by example. David, lead by example. That means now it's the behavior and the words should actually exemplify what he wants the people to do, inspire them through that.
Right.
And people will follow them. Okay? And the other things about leaders that they need to have values which are transparent, things like integrity, ethics, and compassion with people. Because people can see your values through their words and the behavior that you manifest. And this is very important actually. But sometimes in high pressure organizations, these very values are being sort of challenged when you go to the top of the organization. And some of these challenges are actually political or interpersonal. Actually, David, leadership is very lonely at the top. I find that talking to senior managers, sometimes they say, look, it's a very lonely job. I'm the one leading organization. Sometimes this keeps me awake at night. So leaders are actually best challenged when they are outside the comfort zone. You challenge at the right time, the right challenges, and give them the chance to perform and lead others.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks for that. Thanks for the insight. So last question,
Yes.
I promise. In an organization, if we are keen to adopt a systematic way of developing leaders or talent, have you any ideas, even roadmaps, if you may, to share with us from your perspectives?
Yeah, from my experience, there are basically three things that we need to have in focus, and you can't run away from one: competence or your capability enhancement. I mean, if you don't have competence, then you wouldn't be able to. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then the second important factor is leadership development. What's the point of having the capability, but if you're unable to lead the pack? You know? And finally, you, of course, and this is equally important, is that the mindset and behavior for change. Now, you can have a competence, you can have leadership, but if your mindset doesn't want to change, then I'm sorry, you'll never achieve your ultimate goal. I mean, it all comes down to having all three in a balance.
I think of these three, which do you think is the most difficult one, David?
Oh, actually, the mindset change, because we are so culturally caught up with our own past and our preset ideas. A template has already been set into our minds, and we find it very hard to change that template. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, it's like cultivated DNA.
That's right. Yes, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree, David. Actually, I've been in Shell for many years now, and I find that Shell's roadmap is not bad. It's not bad.
Right.
It's based on learning theory, and what it says that when a young executive goes in an organization, the first thing he must be quite good at is to develop his personal and professional competence.
Right.
He'll be good at what you do best. and understand the profession. But having said that, the next level is actually managing people, leading them, communicating with them, people management. And having done that, the third area is business, understanding the business and getting the business focus. And the final area is actually strategic thinking and managing and leading change.
Right.
But all that actually with a vision to the future. And that's very important. When you come to the top, vision is very important, but that leads the organization.
Right.
This model, Shell developed many years ago, used worldwide. It's called the LEAD model of leadership development.
Right.
Pretty well done.
Sure.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. And for our listeners, some of these ideas are graphically described in the slides on the page that you can flip through with your fingers or use your mouse to click on each slide on the right arrow. And one click on the slide would enlarge the slide for more details. So thank you and have a nice day.
Thanks, David. Thanks,
Thank you.
Karina.
Thank you very much.